to the final whistle after that Bama beatdown on the Bayou. Look, the Avengers are back. Couldn't be more pumped. Bama's rolling. We're rolling. We're going to get this show rolling. I mean, there's nothing left to say. You just went down to the Bayou and just kicked that coon ass, and they were exiting out quicker than lights hitting roaches in a damn closet. Man, it was a beatdown. But
that was a good one.
We're gonna get to all that stuff. As always, I got my all-star crew here with me. Right below me, I got the man, number 32 on the field, number 1 in your hearts, Chris James. What's up, my man?
Man, I feel wonderful, man. See the balloons and everything. We kicked that Cajun tail. I am like thrilled because that school right there, other than Tennessee, are probably the 2 schools that I loathe the absolute most, even more than Auburn. So to be able to have bragging rights for another year, I'm satisfied.
There you go. There you go. And right next to him, the man that's usually running the show. I think he's a little under the weather tonight, but that's not going to keep him from bringing all the hot takes and keeping us here in line here at the final whistle. The one, the only, Ty Hayes. What's up, my man?
Hey, happy to be here. Just a little under the weather, but I'll tell you what makes it always better is when not only Alabama gets a win, but whenever I get to hear Brian Kelly complain afterwards that, oh, they were blitzing my quarterback. Oh. Shut up.
We had walk-ons out there, man. He crying.
Listen, if I'm an LSU fan, genuinely, and I'm not even trying to be funny, that's why you lost like that. Because that's soft. That's soft as Charmin Ultra Soft, the way Brian Kelly behaved after that. That's indicative of the program right now.
Well, I know nobody on this panel enjoys beating a team's ass into a whiny ass submission fit than the man right next to you, one Lushan. Lushan, how you doing tonight?
You know what? I'm fabulous for multiple reasons. For one, our defense played physical. They knocked people out all night. In fact, they played so hard they knocked the LSU fan base out their own damn stadium. And that energy is just gives me chitters. Let's go, boys. I'm ready to go.
And above him, number 11 on the field, number 1 in your heart.
Number 2 in your heart.
When that Bama team gets off that bus in Baton Rouge, they're ready to kick some ass. And I think they backed it up one more time. What did you think about it, Matt?
I was glad. It was only one Tiger that showed up, and it was the Renham Tiger that they had on the sideline. And I'm like, you don't need to put a Tiger out there named Oscar. I don't think that's the softest, unscariest Tiger I've ever heard. But anyway.
Put him up.
And look, the star of the show, the talent of the James family, the looks of the James family, the man that brings it, got all the recruiting info, bringing it to the ladies, showing them the moves.
You must go mention me.
James, what's up?
Oh, wait, hold on, man. Man, somebody done pooped in my shoe, man.
Good Lord, I don't know. Dan James, what's up, man?
Nothing much, man. It's Tuesday. I'm here with my guy, the Avengers. Man, let's get it going.
Let's get it going. Hey, we got an action-packed show. I'm Daniel Petty. I'm going to be hosting tonight. I'm here with my Avengers as always. Look, we got a jam-packed show. What we're going to talk, what does the possibility of an SEC championship game mean for Alabama and the SEC in general? What did this win mean for Jalen Milroe's legacy at Alabama? And as always, we're going to go on an island with Matt and Chris. And then we're going to let Lou take you to the danger zone. And then we might have had some questions for the mailbag. As always, I might bring that segment to you if you're good. But before we get into all of that, before we go hard, before I screw up a transition, unlike my man Ty Hayes does, let me tell you a little bit about that sponsor that keeps the lights on here at the Bama Standard, and that is one Lamb Stone Company. Check them out at realrock.co so you can get all the ideas of the stone patterns for your house, but don't do it now. Wait till after the show. Let me tell you a little bit about Lamb Stone. Have you ever dreamed of having beautiful natural stone in or around your home? Well, don't settle for subpar materials. Check out Lamstone Company's selection of natural stone products to meet all of your project needs. Lamstone is located in Aniana, Alabama, which is apparently a word I need to teach to the whole panel here at the Bama Standard. Is one of the oldest, most trusted sources here in the state. Oh no, not you, Ty. That we botched it on some other shows since. So contact them today and tell them that we sent you using the promo code the Bama Standard and get 10% off your first offer. Hey, and look, don't feel bad. James Spann had a whole episode about Alabama cities that people screw up, and Aniana was on the list. Oniana, whatever. It's Aniana. Check them out. Hey, Lamont, just know it's the home of Bama great Lamont Russell. That's all you need to know. And the home of Lamstone Company, who keeps lights on for us. But with that said, man, we got some Bama football to talk tonight, coming off a big win. Before you do that, hit that like and subscribe. If you're on Twitter X, come over to the Bama Standard, do the same. Give us some love and that like and subscribe. But with that said, man, that win, I don't know how they're going to shuffle it out when all these teams end up 10-2, but like I think Matt mentioned it, Bama's got the best resume, and I think at some point it's going to come down to that. They've got the most 25 wins. So if Alabama finishes out, which I feel like they're going to do, this regular season schedule ends up in Atlanta, is the SEC title game bad for Alabama? I'm going to start off with you, Chris.
No. Well, you want me to tell you why? Because if we win, we go to Atlanta. First off, it'll probably be Texas or one of the Texas teams. You know, we like beating both, but we really owe Texas. We owe Texas like we owe the IRS. So,
I had a joke, but I wasn't gonna say it.
but the thing about it is, guys, we're already in playoff format. So any loss, we're done anyway, as far as playoffs are concerned. So we have to play like our hair's on fire every game. And the reason why we want to go to Atlanta and win, so we can get one of those 4 byes. We can win the SEC and get one of those 4 byes. Now we're not looking to be on the road in the round earlier. We get a bye, then we get to host a home playoff game. So that's like if you tell me, okay, you get one shot at one of these Texas teams, and if you win, you get a bye, you get a top 4 spot, you get a bye in the playoffs. Or you can just cruise through and have to go on the road in the first round, then have to go on the road in the quarterfinals. Which one would you guys choose? This is a no-brainer. I'm taking my chances to get that home playoff bye because we already in playoff mode. So I'm not running for nobody. We're not running for nobody. We want all the smoke from everybody.
Ooh.
So look, Chris is going at that football. Let's eat. Let's work our way higher up that echelon mentality. Ty, do you see it different? More? Is there a different angle analytically, possibly, or do you see it the way Chris sees it? Let's go eat.
Yeah, I don't think that he's wrong, right? Like I think that you're right. But here's the thing, guys. If Alabama doesn't make it, you get the week off from the SEC championship, basically give you that bye anyways, plus the time from the SEC championship game to the playoffs, and maybe your first game is in Indiana, and then you go in. Plus you'd get the home game. So when I look at this, I would love to have an SEC championship. That's always an accolade you want. But my thing is right now is Alabama's a little bit banged up. You got guys not playing at 100%, and that's everybody. If I had it my way, I think Alabama will continue winning out, maybe not have that SEC championship game, and then make it to the playoffs. Because if you play a Texas or a Texas A&M, that's going to be a real hard-fought game. And if you win, then you get the bye week, but you might have to rematch them. I think whenever we look at this, it's very hard to beat teams twice. In my opinion, keep what you have, move forward, win all of your games. If you end up there, you end up there. But I think getting healthy and then going to the playoffs where you're not going, let's be honest, Texas or Texas A&M, no disrespect to Indiana, is a harder game than Indiana or Boise State. So if you get banged up and then go to the playoffs, now you might not be in such a good position.
I had a feeling we may go to a different direction because I think there are multiple ways you can look at this, and I don't necessarily believe any is wrong because we really don't know yet. We're in
there's no wrong answer here.
Yeah,
That's
I don't think there is. Lou, you're always on the side of let's go hunt, let's eat. What's your thoughts on this, man?
I'm on the fence of this one. This one's kind of tough. Mm-hmm. I agree with both of the guys before. However, we have a problem, and I don't think that I'm going to err more on the side with Ty on this one, just because we do have some guys that are banged up, and we do need to bring them along. And I don't necessarily think that the baptism by fire with this generation is actually the way to go with it. I think maybe another week of preparation and getting, acclimated to what they're doing is actually going to pay it forward. And like Ty said, it's the SEC. If we have to go somewhere and play, I'm not really too worried about us on the road just because of where this team's attitude's at. And on the other hand, let's face it, the committee's not going to do us any favors. Even if we went out, we're not making the SEC championship because the committee hates Alabama. So, we might as well just I'm just preparing myself for that just because I know how the committee's going to feel about it. So, yeah.
I kind of agree with you, and I'm with you, Lou. I can see both sides of the argument. I'm on the fence here. I know the man above you, though, mentioned last week. He kind of echoes what Chris said just a few seconds ago. He felt like, let's go play, let's go eat. Matt, a week later, seeing how all the scenarios are playing out, do you feel the same? Just give you the championship game, let's go play in this title and win and move up?
I think I'm kind of in between as well. First, I just need Bama to beat Mercer, beat Oklahoma and Auburn. And if we get there, cool. If we don't, I'm good. I just want to finish the season 10-2. And wherever the chips may fall, let's just go wherever they fall. So my biggest concern is just finishing out the rest of November, be Mercer, Oklahoma, and Auburn. And after that, I don't really care. But, if I had to choose, I'm probably leaning a little bit more towards getting healthy, get in the playoffs, looking at what we have to do. If we have to go travel or whatnot. But at the same time, I love championships and rings. The guys have an opportunity to go to Atlanta. I'm all for that. And if they win, it pays off. So, but yeah, I think it's a win-win. I just want Bama to win out the rest of November. That's my answer. I don't care what happens after that. As long as we finish 10-2, I am good.
Just win and let it speak for itself. Well, speaking of speaking for itself, let me pose it to you like that, Dan. Is Bama's resume good enough without the SEC championship? I like Matt pointed out, you look at Texas, Penn State, and Indiana, all top 5 teams, none with a top 25 win, where Bama's sitting with 3 current top 25 wins and 4 at the time that they played them. Well, there's 4 at the time they played them. I think it's 3 current, right? Right. But with that said, it's still better than anybody else's resume out there. Do you think they need an SEC? We've got intruders. Hello, man. What's up? Say Roll Tide.
CJ, what are you doing, man?
CJ is taking Chris out.
Hey, it is 4, by the way. LSU, South Carolina, Missouri, Georgia.
There you go. 4. All right. Yeah. Some idiot screwed up the graphic I was reading earlier. I'm going to get on that ass. So I don't think they need another win. So what do you think, Dan? SEC championship, more dangerous, helpful, hurtful?
Yeah, from a health standpoint, I'm not for it. But as a fan, from a fan standpoint, SEC championship, Atlanta, Georgia, I am there. It's good for me. But for the team, no, I think our resume is good enough. We win out. We don't need to play in the SEC championship game. No, our goal is to win the national championship. You know what I'm saying? Getting to the SEC, win the SEC championship, that's well and fine. But, you know, we can get into the playoffs without having to go to the SEC championship. I'd rather, you know, go to sit out SEC championship week. Plus,
I'm glad to know that the final whistle is going to be the ground zero for whatever podcast, true crime podcast that's happening right below me right now.
I know, right?
No, I'm with you on that, Dan. We grew up in that vein of go to the SEC championship, win it. It's hard to change your mindset on that. But I'll be honest, I was in the Bryant Museum before the USF game, wandering around, looking at all the pictures, looking at all the trophies that were in the back of the facility, not on display.
Right.
And in this little back room on these 1980 teachers' desks are 7 SEC championship trophies collecting dust.
Right.
I'm tell you guys, if we win another one, you're just gonna put it back there on that 80s teacher's desk to collect dust. And I'm not sure that's the goal right now. I think in this new era, man, if you're already in the playoff, why risk the injury? Why I get wanting the championship, but you're putting yourself out there for one more game against one of the best teams in the SEC. And look, when you're a dog, you're a dog. We've heard it from Matt. We've heard it from Chris. When you get on that field, you're out there to win and play. And I get it. I get the win-win mentality, but I also get that you're playing for bigger trophies right now, the ones that don't go next to the 17 in the back room that we've won. And again, those are great, but let's add those national title trophies. And I'll be honest, if you've watched college football this year with the parity going on and the trajectories of football programs, Alabama's a football program right now nobody wants any part of come this playoff. And I'd like to see them go in healthy and, again, a team with an identity. Speaking of identities, great takes. I don't know where I stand on this. I don't think anybody's going to know until a year or two plays out of what the SEC championship means to seedings, what it means to does the 2 teams go in with 2 losses? Does that third loss? I mean, because all we're hearing is the third loss bumps you out of the damn playoffs. Could that third loss? I mean, are they going to just ignore it because you're in a title game? Or is it going to be held against you? Again, we don't know. There's just so much uncertainty. But where there's not uncertainty is all week we had a quarterback get questioned. Could he take this team into a raucous environment and lead them to victory? That's the one question mark left for Milroe. He's won the big games. He's beat Georgia. He's taken Alabama to the Final Four. There's no doubt this kid's legacy is a great quarterback at the University of Alabama, a winner at the University of Alabama. But there were still questions going into this week. Could Jalen Milroe, after games that we saw at Tennessee where the eyes looked like I get a little wide, his first start at A&M, which may can give a wash, but was still kind of rough, could he go into a place like Death Valley, put the team on his shoulders and win? And he answered with a resounding yes. That kid looked poised from the moment he stepped on that soiled, wet, coon ass alcohol turf in Death Valley. He wasn't scared of the tiger yelling at him. He wasn't scared of the coon asses. He wasn't scared of nothing. And he just took it to that LSU defense. What does this LSU win mean for Jalen Milroe's legacy? I would ask Chris, but I'm not sure if he's been abducted, if his kids are calling 911. We don't know what's going on right now. There's a scene. That's all we do know. We know that we may be a part of a True Crime podcast that we get interviewed for one day. So with that said, I'm going to go with the hold on. We have signs of life. Hey, what's up, buddy?
Oh my goodness.
What'd you think of Milroe this weekend?
CJ, what are you doing? That's Danny. That's Danny.
Okay, is that Danny? Okay.
That's Danny. That's the little one.
Wave it. Well, we'll go to the other James that is here with us. Dan, what did this mean for Jalen Milroe's legacy this weekend in Baton Rouge?
Oh, man. I mean, that definitely helped his legacy. You know, that's a game that's going to be remembered the time, you know, Bama went to Red Stick and completely dominated for 4 quarters. You know, that's going to forever be in Alabama lore. So that was tremendous accomplishment for Jalen and his legacy at Bama, you know, to say the least. You know, the way he did it, you know, the record-setting performance, you know, that goes up there with, you know, King Henry, you know, us shutting down Leonard Fournette, that's going to be something, that we'll forever remember. So it was tremendous impact on his legacy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Matt is a man that wore the crimson jersey, that knows what it means to step off that bus at a night game in Death Valley and feel that vibe, that energy that just makes you, takes your game to a next level. But more than anything, is a guy that when you watch these are your brothers out there on the field. What does that game mean for someone like Jalen Milroe in a former player's eyes?
It means a lot. I mean, the guy had almost 200 yards rushing, 100 yards passing, 4 TDs, won every award in America between him and Jahad Campbell. I think it does a lot for him. I think you look at it was some really good performances from other quarterbacks. You look at Jackson Dart, you look at Quinn Ewers. But, him going in Death Valley, ground zero, I think that was huge. And I think that was not only beneficial, it was definitely a legacy game, but I think it was a legacy game for DeBoer, Sheridan, Womack, the whole Alabama team as a unit, just to come in, play a complete game on the road in a hostile environment. Now they know how to win in the SEC on the road. You got to run the ball, obviously. Now I get in on the island. We got to take this momentum and evolve. That way we can be prepared. One of the hottest teams going into the college football playoff by, handling the business these next 3 games. But listen, Alabama's where legends were made. And so to do it in the rain, in Death Valley, I mean, that was just amazing game. I can speak on it all day, but I'm going to give it to my brother, Lushawn.
Absolutely. Lou, who's never – look, we hold people to a standard, don't we, Lou? We expect some things, and at times we might have been a little harsh. So I really want to know your thoughts on the man's performance.
They're not complicated. We set out a challenge for this young man, and it was to go and have a statement game. And being an Alabama quarterback in your career, you can win all the games you want because obviously you're going to have a badass defense. You're going to have some kick-ass receivers. You're going to have a couple running backs that are going to be in the conversation for a Heisman. But every quarterback needs that one statement game. And everybody thought, the Iron Bowl, and yes, that was to a point. But Saturday night, going into that cursed stadium with all them bourbon smelling, grease ball loving, just wide-eyed, blue-eyed, just weird people, for lack of a better word to say it. And he went down there and not only stole their souls and kicked that Tiger in the ass so bad that they had to take him out because he was so depressed. Jalen Milroe's legacy is taken to a new level because he not only beat the Tigers senselessly, he set a record. He broke Jalen Hurts' rushing record as a quarterback, which means he is etched in Alabama history. So as far as his legacy, this was a statement game. The greatest of his career, as far as I'm concerned. And in saying that, I'm interested to see what he does next week and the week after. Because, guys, we've seen what he can do. If he puts all phases of his game together, it's the scariest person I've seen in football.
It's hard to argue, man. Unless your eyes aren't attached to a brain that's ever watched football, you know that when he steps on the field, he's the best athlete on that field. And given an offense that suits his skill set, he can absolutely take over a game. And he did that Saturday night. And a man that has reined me and Lou in a few times when we get a little excited in our criticisms, because he's always stood behind and seen, his praises and seen the qualities that make him a great leader, is one Ty Hayes. Ty, I know for someone that has always been a full and a rightfully so supporter of Jalen Milroe, I know that had to make your heart happy to see that young man go in there with all the questions going into the week and answer the way he did.
Yeah, I really can't tell you how happy I was for Milroe, right? It's the second time this year where I've just sat there and been smiling ear to ear. Georgia, right? When he carved that Georgia defense up with his arm, and then this week. Before I really start the analysis on Alabama LSU, there is one thing that I do think we all need to acknowledge, and that's the fact that Alabama is in the 1% of something right now. And I know everybody's thinking, well, Ty, aren't they in the 1% of success? And all of these accolades, you're right. But in my opinion, as great as all that is, they're in the 1% of something even more important. And that's not only having uncommon athletes, but uncommon human beings. And I think when we look back right now at the current run of quarterbacks Alabama has been on, from Jalen Hurts to Tua to Bryce Young to Jalen Milroe, they are all exceptional football players, but they are all exceptional human beings. And that, to me, really is something we need to give a lot of credit to Nick Saban for. And I'm not just trying to single out the quarterback. I mean, you look at the spark Jamison Williams provided for this team, where they loved him, and he brought an energy and a fire to the team. Devontae Smith, you talk about Tyler Booker, you talk about Landon Dickerson. I mean, the leaders that have come through this team in just the last few years, not even talking about the quality of football player they are, it's inspiring. I mean, truly inspiring stuff. If you're a high school football player wondering who should I look up to, you have no shortage if you're an Alabama fan. And I think that's a really special thing that can kind of get lost in the immense amount of success Alabama has found. Now, talking about the game, you want to know my favorite thing about this? Is Milroe was 12 of 18 for 109 yards through the air. It was raining real hard. They had the throw to Ryan Williams that would have given him about another 45 yards and a touchdown if it was caught. I'm not mad that the ball wasn't caught. It was thrown pretty well. Would have been a real tough catch. Ryan Williams had to outstretch it. It was a wet football. And then the other one, I've seen a lot of talk about that. He also hit Kendrick Law with, excuse my French, an absolute piss missile, right? That this thing just rocketed right into the breadbasket. But once again, real wet, tough to come down with it. My favorite thing about this game is it reminded me a lot of the Georgia game for Jalen Milroe. There were times where, sure, he could have taken a second or two more to see maybe Jeremy Bernard opening up deep. But why would I do that whenever I have my intermediate route open? Why am I going to wait whenever I have something automatic? And that's what he did in this game. He didn't really wait for the big shot to open up. I mean, he took a shot too, but for the most part, he was taking what the defense gave him. And not only in the passing game, but then it got to the point where it was like, okay, LSU can't stop the run. So why are we going to throw?
Exactly.
What he did whenever it was just time to run out and hand it to the running backs or take it himself, incredible. We need to give a lot of credit to Jalen Milroe. We need to give a lot of credit to this offensive line. Parker Brailsford, really, the whole transfer portal haul was an exceptional group. Damani Jackson locked up Kyron Lacey. Locked him up.
Well, they had to move Lacey off of him. They were having to put him all over in different formations trying to get him open.
Parker Brailsford, LT Overton, Jeremy Bernard, they knocked the transfer portal class out the park. I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Chris because I could genuinely talk about this game, all the things that impressed me for the next 45 minutes easily. I'm going to stop.
And you stated it very well as always, Ty. I'm just glad to see Chris made it back from the James Witch project that was being filmed at his house there. So, but no, Chris, yeah. Chris asked it. You were, I think, probably saving somebody's life when Matt was answering it, but I love hearing from guys that played. What does it mean as a former player? Because you know what it feels like to take criticism from the fan, whatever, or to get question, can this team do it? Can this do it? And then when you go answer it, what did it mean for you as a former player to see Milroe get a lot of heat going into a game like this and then answer the bell like the way he did?
Well, somebody mentioned, I can't remember if it was one of you guys, but somebody said something before the game that Milroe looked locked in. And I was like, doing pregame warm-ups, and I was like, like I knew what was coming.
I think that was just
yeah. He said Milroe locked in, and I was like, boy, it's about to be a long night for those Cajuns. But the thing about it is now Milroe puts himself on the tier when we mentioned Alabama quarterbacks, like Ty just said, the run of Alabama quarterbacks. Milroe is now in that conversation now.
Yep.
You know, like, so now when you're naming, like, Alabama had so-and-so, 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 so-and-so. Now it's like, whoa, you know, now he's the next one that they can mention. And he also proved that, just showed that he is probably the baddest running quarterback we've had ever at Alabama. Like, he's up there. He's when you talk about college quarterbacks that can run, and you mentioned Lamar Jackson and Michael Vicks and those guys, Jaden Daniels, you got to mention Milroe's name up there now with those guys. As far as like against the LSU defense to have over 300, close to 400 yards rushing and 8 touchdowns in 2 years, that's ridiculous. You know, that's flat out. Has that been done in the SEC? Cam 8 touchdowns. Did Cam Newton even do that in a 2-game span?
But let's be real, they knew it was coming and couldn't stop it.
That's the part, man. That's
they knew it was coming.
Ty, didn't they bring in the DC from Missouri to really focus on this?
LSU made unbelievable hires in the offseason for this defense. You brought back Corey Raymond as your DB coach. You brought the DC in from Mizzou. You got Bo Davis for your defensive line coach. Petty, to your point, it got to where Bama was like, oh, you can't stop the run. We're not going to pass. Let's see if, like, it was almost like, I don't know if y'all ever did this in high school. We would play, we'd play a game, right? Where you'd get a giant tractor tire and you'd have one leg in the tractor tire and it was boxing. But you couldn't move, right? Like there was only, you could not move your leg from the tractor tire. So you couldn't escape. It was 2 people in the pocket boxing. Bama told LSU, meet me right here. They Max Holloway'd LSU. I don't know if y'all saw the Max Holloway-Justin Gaethje fight. They pointed to the center of the octagon, said, meet me right here, and then knocked their ass out when they knew it was coming. They couldn't stop it. It was a thing of beauty.
Beauty.
I'm sorry. I'm just so fired up with this win.
Oh, hey, and rightfully so. You go down to Baton Rouge and don't give up a touchdown till garbage time and in dominant fashion. How can you not be? Does anybody have any final parting words on what this meant for Milroe's legacy?
I do have an update. Brian Kelly's still complaining to the ref about Alabama scoring in the last minute.
Speaking of Brian Kelly, speaking of updates, I mean, this is one of my favorite segments now because it gives a time for 2 guys to go inside the dome of Bama players. But I don't know how they're going to do it this week because I'm pretty sure every LSU fan left that damn stadium and went and jumped on a deserted island. So I hope it's not the one that we're about to go to with one Chris and Matt Cadell. Let's head to the island, guys.
What's up? Welcome to the On an Island with Chris and Matt here on the Final Whistle, where we had to kick some Tigers and some Cajuns and eat all their gumbo here on an Island. But no, this is where we kind of dived into players that are on the island or highlight key players. And as always, I'm gonna let my brother who's in the cabana over there, Chris James, start us off with On an Island.
Yeah. What I want to talk about today, I want to talk about how Alabama's young secondary stepped up to the challenge. I mean, like, they put those guys in absolute cuffs. What the Money Jackson did to Kyron Lacy is a thing that you put on coaching tapes, on coaching clinic tapes. It was a thing of beauty. But the other side, man, you didn't hear the freshman name get called. And when as a DB, when you don't hear your name get called as a corner, that means you're doing something right. Xavier Brown put on a master clinic, absolute clinic. So I'm just happy that he was able to endure that environment, man. And Bray Hubbard, y'all, we can't say enough about that kid. Does Keon Saab get his spot back on the back end when he comes back?
Nope.
Because it's like Bray Hubbard.
Is he coming back though? Because he broke that foot. I don't know that he's coming back.
But the thing is, you know what I'm saying?
Landon Collins, you don't take him off the field.
He's going to take, if anything, he'll take Malachi Moore's spot, in my opinion.
I mean, they're playing so well together. I don't know, because I remember years ago, a guy named Chris Black got injured, and you know who stepped in to take his place?
Mari Cooper.
There you go. Sometimes, you know, stars arise in these type of situations.
I feel like I'm watching Landon Collins run that when Hubbard's out there all over again. Like the way he plays the run.
Wow.
Hey, check this out. Then when Robert Foster, 3 years later, when Robert Foster got hurt, a guy named came in? Calvin Ridley. And both were Ole Miss games, but that's neither here nor there. But
and when Jason Peters went down at that party in 2000, a man named Daniel Petty took his place. It was all over. Done. Like,
Betty.
we're football. I got you. My bad.
Pound.
It tastes so good when it touches your lips.
Hey, but guys,
No,
check this out. Jones, a corner from Wake Forest transfer.
Yeah.
Oh, he
may be the answer at star, guys.
Yeah.
Husky. He actually was playing.
Husky. At Husky, he may be the answer at Husky. Because
he's physical, he's smart.
He can cover. We don't have to change it. We can do anything from that look. We don't have to do anything different. We can play man, we play zone, we can blitz out of there, we can zero, we can blitz across, we can do anything. We can disguise and come from wherever or play whatever comes, because now we have guys back there on the back end who can lock it up across the board, man. And I just think that may be what we see from here on out, man. We're a dangerous team, man.
Yeah.
Matt.
Petty, you got blown out by Peters.
I feel like that's the number 3 at the massage parlor in Lee County. I'll take the blowed out by Peters. Thank you. Number 3.
But Chris, I do think Professor Clutch, Van Edwards wear for him. Shout out to Van Edwards. I do think our defense, to your point, with Brayson Hubbard, plays at a totally different level, where it frees up Malachi Moore, because we had such a young secondary where he had to coach guys and get guys in the right position. Brayson Hubbard brings so much physical tenacity and football IQ. It just makes the back end that much more solid. You know, I feel like we upgraded.
I think so too.
I think we upgraded at the safety position with Brayson Hubbard. This kid is a stud.
Yeah, I think key word you said in that was football IQ. I think that's something we see that lacks a lot in today's game, is that football IQ. So when you see it, it really stands out.
Yeah. Anything else anybody want to add to this?
Go ahead,
yeah. If I may, Latoya was talking about a key play in this game, and that was when Damani Jackson ran down Caden Durham. Guys, I want to impress upon all of you how impressive that actually was.
Right.
Caden Durham was a track star here at Duncanville. Mind you, he qualified for state at a meet where if you ran lower than a 10.46, you weren't making it to regionals. That's how serious North Texas track is. The kid ran like a 10.41 or something, 100-meter dash. Caden Durham can fly. Damani Jackson didn't have an angle, Nothing like that, and ran him down and pushed him out of bounds. People often ask, does track speed translate to football speed? Not always. Not always, but I can guarantee you 2 instances where it does. Caden Durham has got actual track speed on the football field, and Damani Jackson is fast as can be. Kid ran a 10.25 100-meter dash in high school. He runs a 10.25 on the football field. I don't know if y'all remember, against Western Kentucky, I was laughing so much even recalling it, but when I was watching the game, I broke out laughing at one point because Damani pressed the wide receiver out of bounds the first time. The second time, he missed the press, and the receiver actually got behind him. And instead of turning around and running with him, Damani Jackson is literally like crab scooting up the sideline with this wide receiver. This kid's in a full sprint, and Damani's just like scooting next to him, and I laughed so hard at that. Second thing I wanted to talk about, Bray Hubbard is the 3rd highest graded safety in the nation since week 8.
Wow.
Unbelievable
Wow.
football. Now, y'all know I'm a big Keon Sabb fan. I think he's an unbelievable player. And I do think that next year you're on to something with him taking Malachi's spot.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
That I think is going to be nasty. I think one of the reasons why it's working so well, it's because everybody knows now, like I think with Sabb, there was this overconfidence in the secondary. And now everybody's like, oh, I have to be very focused on my job. Not because Bray Hubbard can't do it, but because he just doesn't have the experience, right? So now everybody else is like, okay, I need to make sure I do my job. That way Bray Hubbard can completely do his. We know he's got the athletic ability, but experience is a very powerful thing in football. There's a reason why they look for it in the transfer portal. He has been phenomenal. Last thing. Day Jones at Husky. That was a brilliant move by Kane Womack. You know that LSU isn't going to run the football. They're going to throw it around the yard. They have very talented wide receivers. So let me put my big physical cornerback at Husky. I'll tell you who else I think could man this position in the near future is Zay Mincy.
Yeah.
You beat me to
good
it.
at safety. He looked good at safety.
He looked good but that's why I was so happy when Alabama got him in the class. He can play corner. He can play Husky. He can play safety. Where do you want him, and where is he most happy? That'd be my question. Because if you're happy doing something, you're going to give it 150%. Where are you most happy? If he says safety, beautiful. Let's get you back there. Let's get you worked up. Guys, this is what I'll end it on. We need to give a lot of love to Coach Mo. Mo Linguist has had a lot of freshmen and a lot of inexperience. Even Damani Jackson doesn't have that much experience. Hell, this is going to be his first full season since he was a junior in high school, Dan. Is that right?
Yes, right.
Yeah, because his senior year he was hurt sophomore, because his junior year was COVID.
Junior year he was hurt. So yeah, right.
It's his sophomore season.
Right.
He hasn't played a full season of football. Coach Mo Linguist came in here, had a bunch of talent, but not a lot of experience. The way this secondary is playing now, thing of beauty to watch. And Coach Hitchler in the back end. The safeties are playing unbelievable. Great job by the coaches. Great job by the players.
No, I think you nailed it, Ty. And I think it kind of speaks to this new age of college football where everybody wants to see instant results. You see all these stars on the field and you think it's going to just work immediately. There's going to be a time for pieces to have to gel with new coaches, with all this transfer portal. But once it starts gelling, you see the results you did. Like you talked about Damani Jackson shut down Keon Lacey. It wasn't just Damani, man. Once he shut him down, they were putting Lacey in the slot. They were moving him all over the field because I actually watched that. I wanted to see if it was just Damani following Lacey all night, and it wasn't. It was the whole damn secondary. And for a secondary that's caught a lot of bullets this year for letting guys run free on a night where they were facing a team that could only throw the ball because LSU's not a running team, they shut down one of the best passing quarterbacks and best passing teams in college football, not just the SEC. So absolutely what you said, Ty. Got to give love to this coaching staff, to Mo, to this young secondary. It's only going to get better. It's very young, and that's scary for outside of Moore. It's very scary for the rest of the college football world. But look, man, now that we've got you all lubed up on the island, no diddy, there's only one way to get off that island, get away from that lube, and that's on a plane. And planes take you to the damn danger zone where there is no lube. We're just coming in straight, hard facts, the way my man Lou always brings it. Lou, take us to the danger zone.
Well, it's simple. This week is important. Alabama put on a show. They played up to a standard that we on this panel call the Bama standard, and they need to keep it up because this committee's not going to give them anything. So it's flat out time to actually do something that everybody that's played football knows. It's called finishing the job. You got to finish strong. Finishing strong is the catalyst of a successful football season. You can put all the time and work and effort, all the film watching, but if you don't finish strong, the season does not mean anything. So that's my challenge this week. It's very simple. These next couple games, they have to keep that level of play high. No one's going to give them anything. As we've seen, the committee and most of this country hates our football team. So we're going to have to take it. And in order to take it, you got to finish strong in every sense of the word. You got to finish your tackle. You got to finish your block. You got to finish your assignment because that's the most important thing. Because if and when Alabama finishes strong, the committee's not going to have a choice because we'll have dominated at all 3 points of the game. And I think we're all going to be very satisfied with the results. That's what I got for the danger zone this week, ladies and gentlemen.
Look, hard and fast, just like Hugh Freeze in a massage parlor. Lou don't ever play, man. Anybody else got anything to add to what Lou had to say, man? That's always bringing the heat.
No, I think Lou did a great job. I'm interested to see how they fill the Q Robinson board. I think they're going to move some guys around. I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit more Jeremiah Alexander kind of playing a little bit more with that edge because, he was a lights-out edge rusher coming out of high school. So, I
got a quick question for all of you on that note.
Yeah. Go time.
There was a package, and it's not the first time we saw it.
Right. I know what you're getting at.
There was a package Alabama used. And I think that the beauty of the linebacker room is you have a package both for passing downs and rundowns. I'm not saying doing it all the time. Get Yonze out there. Get Rousseau out there. By all means, heck, if you need to pull Noah Carter up, get Noah Carter up there. That kid returned punts in high school. One of the most athletic people I've ever seen. Ridiculous. But Alabama is spoiled at linebacker. I watched Jahad Campbell straight up whoop a future first-round pick, a top 10 pick at left tackle. Twice. I mean, whoop him bad.
Yep.
Could it be possible that we see Campbell get some reps at Wolf with Justin Jefferson and Agent Zero in the middle as my camera is failing me? Or, and this is a good one, is he too valuable to the interior of this Alabama defense? I want to hear from y'all.
No, I like that.
I love it, and especially on passing downs, man.
Especially on passing downs.
I mean, shoot. I mean, he looked like Harold Perkins did his freshman year. Him coming off the edge, moving around. You've seen it happen with guys. Athletic guys like that. Generational talent. You got the Michael Parsons, the Harold Perkins guy. You look like that, Santarine Perkins. So Jahad Campbell, he's in that mode. He can do it all, and he made some money Saturday night.
Yeah.
He made a lot of money.
He did.
But on the flip side to that, we just talked about a guy who stepped up when there was a void. We just said this Alabama linebacker room is stacked. I think we see the emergence of the next pass rushing dude at Alabama emerge. I have kind of an inkling of who it's going to be, and I'm not going to say nothing yet. But I have a feeling we're about to see a straight killer emerge on the field on Saturday night. I'm telling you.
Need it.
No, go ahead and say the name. I'm curious now.
What does it rhyme with?
Oh,
Kanye.
what?
Do we all freeze?
We're asking what does it rhyme with? What does the name rhyme with?
Chris said what now?
Kanye.
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 I mean,
That's the end of your rap career.
Okay.
No, man.
So who's the name? Who is it? Who's the next? Who's the next star? Are we going with you? Keeping it?
No, I'm keeping it. I'm gonna sit on it.
Who do y'all think it did? Chris? Did Chris? Who did you think it was?
I think it was Deontay Pierre. That dude's a stud, man. I think it's gonna be him.
No.
I mean, Rousseau is a given, but he's going to be more down.
Yet. It's somebody we have not seen yet.
Keely.
No.
Keely got
I'm gonna sit on it. I'm gonna sit
Noah
on it.
Carter.
I'm gonna sit on it.
D. It's D.
D. It's D. Look, does the
definitely
Chief have an answer for this? Tribal Chief, come in. Do you got a guess on this shit? He's back. I think he may have someone taped up right now. He's got work going on.
He's busy, guys.
He's busy. It's work time. It's work time. Look, with that said, we've gone to the island. We've gone to the danger zone. Lou's teasing us more than them little girls down at the parlors that Freeze attends. Damn it. He won't tell us his answer. So with that said, we got nothing else to do.
Way to land that one. That was a good one.
Give love to the people that give love to us. And that's WhitwillSports.com. Look, if you're headed to that game this weekend to let those Mercer Bears know, look, what does Saban say? You can't take these games light. Whitwill Sports don't take it light. So go to WhitwillSports.com today. Get your title towel like my man Dan James has. Swing it around. Lou's got it too. Tell them the promo code standard. Get you a little discount. Head to Bryant Denny and wave that thing like you just don't care and give some love to WhitwillSports.com today. Always giving love to the Bama Standard. Hey. And with that said, it's that time, gentlemen. That time where fans decide to ask me questions and my dumbass answers them. So,
God, this is my favorite time of the week.
I don't know why.
It's so funny, man. This is like top tier content.
This may be the dumbest thing I do.
Y'all, we're witnessing the next Johnny Carson.
Hey,
it's so funny.
What do you think of Ole Miss charging the field before the game was over? Well, they're idiots. Like, they don't, God bless them. They just don't. They're so new to the game. They're so excited. It's like that 16-year-old that gets in the back of the car and you put boys to men. I'll make love to you. And she pulls down your pants and it just goes haywire and it's over.
Oh, Lord.
That's what they did. But look, would you rather do that or be LSU and race into the parking lot by the third quarter? So look, give me the premature because at least you were in the back seat with that girl. By the God, Ole Miss, you've arrived now. Act like it. It's time to start acting like it. No more goalposts, no more of that crap. It's time to big boy it up. What do you think Bama needs to do to win a title this year? Man, I think they need to keep doing what they're doing. They've got an identity offensively. I think the defense is finally coming into its own. There's one thing left to do to bring home a title back to Titletown, USA, and that's fix the gosh damn Bryant Denny dog. You've got this weekend. We've got Mercer. If you ain't got those bats going, if you ain't realized there ain't been a title since we had that Denny dog fart aroma in that stadium, then you don't know what the secret sauce was to national titles. Fix it now because we are on the precipice of another title, but there's just that one secret ingredient, the Denny dog. So for the love of God, Bryant Denny Stadium, get the freaking Denny dog back. Okay. Petty. With the title chase coming down to possibly 6 teams finishing 10-2, and no one seems to have a grasp on what the hell the tiebreaker scenario is, how would you settle it? That's a great question. I've been thinking about that all day. I mean, you do. You've got 6 SEC teams vying for it right now. I don't know. I think Georgia was the first one out according to the rankings tonight. I don't know what you do, man. Everybody's going to be 10-2. Everybody's got a award on their schedule. Bama's got the best resume for wins. So I thought you go old school, like a field day, have some, relay races, but then fatties like Heupel and they're out, so they can't win that. Do you have like a Scholar Bowl, but then, Kirby Smart's screwed, so he's out. I think the only way that you could settle this if we've got all these 10-2 teams, I mean, it's laid out for us. It's Hunger Games. Put every coach in a straight up Hunger Games head coach and just see what man comes out. I've tried to figure out who would win a Hunger Games thing in this scenario. Would it be Kirby? Would Kiffin kind of outfox these guys? I really want to know from the crowd because I couldn't come up with it. I think Kirby would go straight to the middle to grab weapons, and him and Elko at A&M would probably duel it out. So he would probably kill Elko out of the gate. Heupel's going to run to the woods to get food. So I just don't know, man. But that's what I've settled on is Hunger Games. So I really, really implore that if we have 6, 10-2 teams to give us 2 weeks of head coach Hunger Games. I mean, it would be great theater. With that said, I really do. I'm not joking. Please tell me. I want our crowd to interact. I want everybody to know. Tell me who would win a Hunger Games between what we got. Kiffin, Elko, DeBoer, Heupel, Smart, and who am I missing? We got one more.
Napier.
No, the ones that are actually in it.
Shane Beamer don't win it all. No,
Beamer's gonna win it all. All right. With that said, I want your answers next week. Tune in for the next mailbag. Keep the questions coming. With that said, this segment is brought to you by Spirit Airlines, the official airlines of the Auburn Tigers, where if you fight, you fly for free.
Ooh. I like it. I will say, if we're talking about the playoffs, I think that sweet spot to be in is that 11-6 bracket or 12-5. I
did have R. Kelly's Blue album. Never mind. I don't want to go there, man. Sorry. I did. That was on. Oh, wow. Good Lord, man. We grew up in the same era, homie. A couple Viking and them panties drop.
My God.
Wait, that's Varsity Blues. My bad. Wrong thing.
Petty rare form tonight.
Oh, man. Oh, well, that's it. Shoot, I forgot I'm hosting this thing. Ty ain't hosting now. I was done with my mailbag, and I was going to let it go. Let's head to the shit. I was off my own world. No, we're still going with the show. Audience question. Do what, Chris?
Did y'all hear Petty say Heupel will run straight for the food?
Dude, he ain't quit eating.
I don't think it's much running.
Dude, Heupel ain't quit eating since he quit playing quarterback at Oklahoma. That dude looks like Bobby from King
God
Hill.
bless.
You need to get on that Ozempic. You need that SEC Ozempic.
He'll take the golf cart into the woods.
And Brian Kelly would be like, "What is this dirt, ref? They have trees out here. What are we doing out here?"
Brian Kelly be cussing the ref out there and just get his ass stabbed in the back.
Hey, how would our coach do? Caleb DeBoer being
he's a psycho. He's a quiet assassin.
I think DeBoer might be
and watch everybody else kill themselves first.
Yeah, and then he'll come out with the flag at the end. He's more a strategist than anything.
Hey,
I have no words.
I think DeBoer would be. I think DeBoer would be your sneaky. I think him and Kiffin would be your ones to go to the.
And don't sleep on what's Arkansas's coach?
Believe it. Not believe
Boy, Pittman hit you with the people's elbow.
Yeah,
the golf cart with Heupel.
Golf cart scrubbing
the ground. Is Drinkwitz the first one dead?
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah, I mean.
Dude, in the one that lives with Clark Lee, we ain't even talked about him.
He's working on dad jokes.
Clark Lee just pimp dancing on in there.
We know what Sark doing.
Ooh, Sark was the one I left out. Holy hell, I left the Texas coach. I was trying to think of just the bowl eligible, the playoff eligible. Sark's the one. Sark could survive. He'd be back there eating his boogers. He wouldn't even need food. Drinking his own pee and eating his boogers.
Good God.
What about South Carolina coach?
Go primal.
What about Beamer? Beamer will come up with something clever, some special team tactic or something. I don't know.
Dude, I can't let the Goober coaches win. Him and Drinkwitz they would be those idiots that would just run full speed towards the center to get the food, and you just see them take an arrow 10 seconds into the freaking thing.
Bama wouldn't even know it started. He'd be somewhere trying to make a TikTok.
Oh, Beamer.
Okay, look, the audience is bored with our insanity for long enough now. Where the hell did somebody just organ music? Is the James Witch Project starting again? Is somebody dying at your house tonight, Chris?
No, that wasn't me, dog.
That was organ music. That means somebody's about to die. And man, have you seen horror flicks? You better get out of there, Holmes. Don't work.
You said what type of flicks?
With all the kids I got in here, man, they gonna ready to fight.
Horror flicks. We're all screwed. Non-virgins and black dudes, we're all screwed in this thing. We're out.
Oh, here we go.
Chris, get the hell out. All right, questions and answers. Like I said, the sanity. This one's going to Dan. Dan, do you think Cunningham flips to Ole Miss?
That's the way I'm leaning right now, but I would wait to see if he visits within the next couple of weeks. We got Mercer, then we got the Iron Bowl. We'll see if we can get him on campus. If not, I would say that's pretty much, telltale, writing on the wall then, I guess.
And Dan, before I give it to Petty on this, is Alabama going after, Nashawn Montgomery? The Florida commit receiver. Is that kind of where, maybe their thinking is around that?
Well, the thing is, I think so, but the thing is, Alabama, they're going to push for him. They watched, his film. They evaluated. He's one of those in-season evaluations. And they watched him and they like him. And so I think Alabama is willing to accept his commitment regardless of what Cunningham does. Now, the goal was to take 2 receivers, but like they say, Courtney Morgan say, you're not going to turn down great players. So, this is one of those situations where, hey, if Nashawn Montgomery wants to jump on board, Alabama will accept his commitment.
I heard the kid is nice, by the way.
Yes. We need, we've had success with South Florida receivers.
Yeah. Petty, what are you hearing from the hotty-toddy side of this?
Man, and this is, look, I'm probably one of the most jaded recruiting fans out there in this new age. I think relationships don't mean what they used to. I think it comes down to offers and what can you do for me. And that's why I was kind of sold that I didn't think Cunningham was even a remote flip opportunity chance. But, man, this may be one of those rare cases where some of the recruiting stuff still does ring true. You heard what we were hearing in Oxford, just starting with the Oklahoma game. He walked through the Grove and was pretty much a rock star. Kids were getting pictures with him, asking for his autograph. He didn't realize that he had that kind of recognition. And then he was back up there for the Georgia win. And there's a lot of people believe that sealed the deal for him to flip to Ole Miss. I don't put a lot of stock into some of the people, but there's some folks that I do put stock into that know what they're talking about that feel pretty confident right now that Cunningham would flip to Ole Miss. But with that said, what I don't want to take away from that, this class is going to be loaded, and there's other great receivers. And like you're talking about the kid out of South Florida, I don't think is you're not going to miss with. So, but no, I have heard that it sounded closer to like Ole Miss is going to flip Cunningham, and I hate talking about that on the show because I know people know my connections, but it does sound that way.
Boo!
With that, boo! Screw you, Ole Miss! Ole Piss! All right. Is the loser of the SEC championship game 100% out of the playoffs? This is a great question. We talked about this a little bit earlier on the show. I'll let Ty take this one because I don't know, man. I think we're in a world where we're trying to figure it out. What do you think, Ty?
Before this week, and whenever I posed the question about whether or not it's more advantageous for Alabama to miss the SEC championship game just to get healthy, get more time off, get acclimated, and there's a very high chance that if you were to play Texas or Texas A&M in that game, you play them again in the playoffs if they go to number 11. Hard to beat a team twice. I mean, that the history shows that. I didn't think that the loser would make it if they had 3 losses, but listening to Josh Pate today, listening to Heather Dinich today, both of them were pretty adamant that if you lose and an SEC team gets their 3rd loss in that championship game, they're going to make the playoffs. They didn't think that the committee would penalize them for making the SEC championship game that to me was really compelling. The fact it came from who I consider to be the best in the business, Josh Pate, and then Heather Dinich. We know she's as plugged into the playoff committee as possible.
And I think you're right. I don't see how you can penalize a team that makes their conference championship. It would set a precedence for teams to start trying to play around it. And that would be a horrible precedence to set. So I don't think they're going to do it. Great answer. Let's go to Robbie Oots for Heisman. I'm going to go to our resident DB to answer this question. Chris, does Sab get back in over Hubbard when he's healthy? I know we've answered that throughout the show, but let's go ahead and answer it here for Robbie.
No.
I feel like Saab won't hit the field till after Malachi Moore graduates.
Saab,
I just don't think he'll be healthy enough to do it.
We won't rush him back. You know what I'm saying?
He broke his foot. Yeah,
take your time.
Take your time. We're okay. We're okay. Get healthy. Get better. Get stronger. Now, I think we got our
cryogenic chamber. Rest.
Latoya Billingsley, don't you think the PC would leave out the runner-up of the Big? Do you think the PC would leave out the runner-up of the Big 12 or ACC before leaving out the 10-2 SEC team, or do you think one of those conferences will get multiple teams in? Matt, Lou, when do y'all want to take this?
Well, I just think the playoff committee is already overhyping the Big 10. I'm like, Penn State at 6 still. I get it. I mean, but we know they're gonna. I don't know. Notre Dame's pretty high. I mean, you look at Alabama's resume for the top 25 and win. The only team I thought they would come in at like 9 or 8, but it is what it is. I want to get you guys' thoughts.
The only team I'd feel for is if SMU or Miami.
SMU is going to be the one that gets the short end of this stick.
Yeah, and I'd feel for them. I was at that SMU Pitt game when they absolutely blasted Pitt. I'm going to feel for SMU.
I know who won't feel for them. Florida State won't.
SMU is a good team, but they remind me of like if they got in like something like that, like that TCU team, that was just at some point they just gonna run to a team that's just so much more talented. They're gonna be in above their head.
I don't know, man. This is going to be an interesting season, seeing how because we're going to see how this plays out, because I don't think anybody knows right now. I mean, in years past, you'd think the SEC would get the nod, but we'll see.
How cool would it be if Boise was to slip up and Army gets in?
Oh, I'd love
that. Would it be?
Oh, I'd love it. All right, my man Kyle, this is the question for Lou. Has KD already had, which I mean, I think metrics-wise, this is a no-brainer, but has KD already had a better first season than Coach Nick Saban? There's obviously some variables there, but what he inherited, relative based on what he inherited, etc. Because, of course, Nick didn't inherit Nick's talent to play with, or he would have probably won straight out of the damn gate. So I think this is a great question for you, Lou, our boy Kyle. What you think? KD doing better?
That's a tough question. I'll answer it like this. He's done a phenomenal job in his first season at Alabama. I mean, obviously following the GOAT is, that's impossible for anybody to do. The fact that he stepped up and has had this much success in this SEC, in this era of the SEC, is highly impressive. Now to the next part of the question, the variables. Now, as far as with the talent he's inherited, that's the part I'm kind of iffy on. I'll answer like this: to be determined on that second part, because I haven't seen the finished product yet. I don't think we've seen it. Once we've seen it, I'll better be able to answer that question. But I'm going to hold back on that one because we haven't seen them through a full season. There's still some important football to be played. So he's done a phenomenal job. But like I said, in the danger zone, he's got to finish strong.
Hear you. Anybody got a quick one on that? All right. And Van, I did see you down there bumping R. Kelly's You Remind Me of My Jeep. Nah, man, I was more of a B-side. It was Step in My Room from R. Kelly when I really wanted to get the ladies going. What you got, Ty?
Yeah, just a quick update on QB1 in this class. Duncanville has finished up their regular season. Key Russ is hunting for his third straight state title at Duncanville. I don't think people outside of Texas realize what that means, but I'm going to give you his numbers for this season in the hardest league in any league in high school outside the Trinity League in California with teams like St. John Bosco, Mater Dei. Duncanville's league is ridiculous. 171 of 243, 70% completion percentage, 2,827 yards, 41 touchdowns, 1 interception in 9 games.
Wow.
Bring it. That'll work. And
That's
I'm like
ridiculous.
you give me a quarterback in those top classifications in Texas. They
President.
Bring it. Well,
I'm going to be at his playoff games too.
However, I hope you know every time you mention Duncanville, my brain immediately takes me to the small town south of Tuscaloosa, where really the real talent comes from. Duncanville, Alabama, just a baseball mecca, but that's for another day. The true D-Villians south of Tuscaloosa know what I'm talking about.
Hey, y'all don't say that. Y'all don't say that.
D-Villians?
No, I don't know. I'm just messing with you.
Look, been a great show. Let me real quick tell you what we got coming up for the rest of the week. If you didn't catch us on Monday, we had the opening kick. Go back and watch that. An hour before us, we had the flagship, the Bama Standard. If you missed out, go back and check our man Justin slinging it with Smoke, Marvin in the gang. And then, of course, us. Thank you for being here with us tonight. But tomorrow night, we got the Crimson Dynasty at 6:30 Central with Sishi. And our man Dan's gonna be back with her. I think JB still with y'all or Steven?
That's right.
All right. And then at 8:15, you got Teague's Take, the man George Teague breaking down film. Don't want to miss that. Thursday night, got a new show coming to you, coming hard in the paint. We got a basketball show, 7 Central. I think I'm going to be on that, talking a little bit Bama hoops with JT. I'm not as sure who all is going to be on there talking some stuff, but we're going to be on there. If you want some Bama basketball, that's the place to check out. And then, as always, as soon as that final whistle blows, be here Saturday night for the Bama Standard, the post-game show. It's too much to spit out at this point. And then on Sunday night, talking Bama with JT, JB, Marshall, Stephen Smith and the gang, 7 Central. And then again, back on Monday night, the opening kick with me and Smoke. Got it. As always, man, the Bama Standard has your football content. Don't miss it. Be with us. With that said, man, let's follow the cast. Avengers, tell us where we can find you. I'm going to start with you, Chris.
Yes, you can find me on Facebook at Chris K. James Sr. You can find me on Instagram at final_whistle_Chris. And you can find me on X at Coach Chris James. And you can find me here every Tuesday night with the team, with the fellas. And looking forward to Petty's mailbag, because that is, brother.
Now starting to get, man, these questions get harder and harder to answer. Ty, where can we find you, man? All over the place. Tell us where it is.
Yeah, you can find me here. You can find me at Around the Table Sports. You can find me on Bleacher Report, anywhere where they give me a microphone.
There you go. Luke.
You can find me on X, Rolu241, Facebook and Instagram, Lucian Graves, and on Tuesday nights, late night show, the best show, Final Whistle, with the Avengers, talking about the greatest football team in the land. Roll Dadgum Tide.
Matt, how do you call that up? Where can we find you, sir?
You can find me here on the Final Whistle, but find me on Twitter, MCadell11, and still talking college football. Holler at me.
Holler. Hey, and last but not least, the star, the looks, the charm, just the whole package of the show. Dan, where can we find you, sir?
You can find me on X at the Final Whistle Dan every Tuesday night right here on this very channel. The Final Whistle, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Wednesday nights, tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Central, the Crimson Dynasty. And immediately following the games on Saturdays, you catch me on the Bama Standard post-game show.
There you go.
Y'all be sure to hit that like and subscribe button.
Yes, hit that like and subscribe. If you're on Twitter X, hit that like and subscribe. Look, I'm your host tonight, Daniel Petty. Find me at Twitter on Petty_Daniel, and we're gonna close out on the most famous 2 words in college football.
Roll
Roll
that.
daggum tide.
Don't give a piss.